Welcome everybody back to Off the Rails podcast with Tone and Jems. I'm Tone, that's Jems, and we kind of are running a little behind for episodes, but that's just because Jems was out hanging out on boats and stuff and doing some stuff. But what's up, Jems? How's it been? How's it been being back to normal?
Yeah, it's nice to be home. Like, it was great being away and not having like responsibilities, really. But
yeah,
it's nice to sleep in my own bed last night.
It's always nice. It's always nice to sleep in your own bed. Even if you have the best bed on like a vacation, it's like
Right.
It's not your bed.
It's also 32 degrees here right now, when it was like 70 all vacation. So that kind of sucked a little bit, but
yeah, you guys drove, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yes. How far of a drive was that for you guys?
So we went to like Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg, Tennessee first.
Oh,
that was
sweet.
8 hour. That's an 8 hour drive. Like, if you don't have a 3-year-old, 5-month-old, and a pregnant wife.
That was a 12-hour drive.
It was probably, I think it took us about 10. And then from there, we went.
Did you guys do the Gatlinburg thing? Or?
Yeah. We were in a cabin there for like 5 days.
Oh, nice. I've been there before.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. Like, we went to Dollywood and like the island. Most of the time we were in Pigeon Forge, but we did do stuff in Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg. I ate the biggest burger I've ever had in my entire life in Gatlinburg.
I might have had my best dinner I think I've ever had, and it was
really?
just like, well, I don't know if I go that far. It was just like at a kind of like a seafood sports bar kind of place.
Okay,
but it was like, I'm a hillbilly kind of, so I think it was called shrimp bruschetta or bruschette. I don't know. It was Brochette, I think. I don't know.
Sounds good.
But it was like, it had shrimp, which was like split a little bit, but then it had like bacon and crab meat or something. I don't remember exactly, but it was awesome. It was like,
sounds amazing.
It was incredible. And
so
then
that's one thing I miss about like the East Coast is like the seafood. Like
yeah. Who would have thought Tennessee had pretty good seafood?
That's not that far from the coast. I mean, if you get it
right,
like, blown in or whatever.
And then my father-in-law ordered a oyster shooter, and I was like, "What is that?" And I've never had an oyster before, but I was like, I like seafood. It was a shot glass with an oyster in it, and I believe it was hot sauce and beer. I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. I didn't hate it. It wasn't like something I would like crave to go out for, but if I see it on a menu, I'll probably do it again.
It's wild. Like people like when I lived in Virginia, people would love like Oysters Rockefeller. I don't know what Oysters Rockefeller is, but they would just order the shit out of that stuff. I think it's just oysters and a half shell with something on it. I don't know if it's a hot sauce or something, but yeah, people would eat like tons of them, and I'm like, I don't understand. It looks slimy and doesn't. It's not very. I don't know. Oysters aren't for me.
Well, then when we were at my aunt's house, we went out to like a seafood place for dinner, and my uncle. Well, she just married him like last year, so I guess he's my uncle. But whatever. Ordered oysters as a appetizer. He's like, you ever eat oysters? I was like, for the first time like 3 days ago. So, they were good though. Scallops were good.
Yeah. My wife loves scallops. She's a big scallop person.
That's my wife's favorite. Like, if scallops are on a menu, like, that's what she's ordering.
That's my wife too. Do our wives get along probably?
Apparently. So
does your wife root for the Colts too? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
She roots for to not be in the house during Lions games.
Fair enough. But I guess I've never asked you. Like, how did you meet your wife? Were you guys like high school sweethearts? Were you guys like?
Well, we went to the same high school, but when I was a senior, she was a freshman. I don't know if we ever talked in high school, but one of my best friends and one of her best friends have been dating forever.
Okay.
So I think I was 22 or 23, and she came to like a softball game with my buddy's girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And we'd hung out a little bit there, but it was nothing like, I think I had a girlfriend at the time, and I think she was in college, like away at college. So it was nothing, but then I can't remember if it was the same year. I think it had to have been the same year. We or like within a year, not the same calendar year, but within a year, my that same buddy had a fire. We like to do fires when it's like 30 degrees out because he'd have these big ass
Big old bonfires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he had one of those, and then she came, and then we started talking from there.
Nice. Yeah, I one of the girls I dated, I met at a bonfire. I was like, just like drinking beers and fucking hanging around bonfires, shooting the shit, basically.
I mean,
I wonder if people are going to do that anymore with COVID. Who knows?
I don't know. From like 18 to probably like 22, that was like the majority of what we did. What are we going to do tonight? I don't know, but I can light something on fire.
Yeah, dude. I don't know how many times we had bonfires. People were like, "I got a bunch of mail. I got to come burn." Like they just come burn their mail and shit. Like,
it was like a last resort thing, but
yeah,
it always worked. Like it worked out, and then
it's fun, especially if you got some kind of like ability to play music or something like that.
Right, and it usually involved one of us like killing our trucks, playing the radio.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
And then my dad always had a case of hams.
Oh, jeez.
But like we wouldn't drink it unless we ran out of beer, and then it was always, oh, we'll take Dad's hams, and then
replace that with
we'll replace it, which it would rarely get replaced. I'd be like, "Sorry, Dad, don't worry about it."
He's like, "Don't worry, I got pocket change. I'll go buy another case."
Right. Well, that's what it was. My grandpa would go up to Michigan because we're right on the border.
Yeah.
And there was this like smoke shop store thing.
Oh, okay.
Like, because I forget, it was either on our side of the border or the other side. I can't remember. We always just called it going to Michigan, whether you were across the line or not.
Yeah.
I think Indiana has the cheaper cigarettes, but I can't remember because people would cross the line all the time to get whatever. But my grandpa would back his truck up like every Thursday, and this dude would load like 4 or 5 cases of nearly expired hams in the back of his truck. Oh. So that's what my dad and my grandpa drank.
I mean, it's fine. But is hams the what? Have you ever seen Superbad?
I have seen Superbad, but I'm not.
Is hams what they're drinking in that when he says like, "Can I get 13 road beers?" I think that's what they're drinking.
You know what? I haven't noticed. I would have saw that pre hams because he used to be into like old style and stuff.
Oh,
it was just whatever is cheap. They liked quantity over quality.
Dude, my dad for a long time drank Miller High. Well, I don't know if he drank Miller High. So my mom worked at a package store. My dad was military. My mom worked at a package store like twice, which is like the liquor store basically for the base. Right. So like we always had like weird stuff like in the house, but like I specifically remember seeing a lot, and I had a shirt that I wore probably from like 14 to like 22. That was like a Miller High Life shirt. Like, dude, I wore all my dad's old shirts, and they were all stupidly inappropriate. So like I had a Special Olympics shirt because like my aunt actually like helps with the Special Olympics, but it was like this cool like Special Olympics shirt. And then like I had that Miller High Life one, and then I had this one that said it was like it's a company. It's an actual company. I thought it was a joke shirt for the longest time, but it's called Solaire. Sulair.
Sullair.
Yep.
That's they make like not generators, compressors or something. I don't know. It's literally right down the road from me.
Yeah. So the shirt says Solaire, and it has like the logo, and it's green, but it's like a ringer T-shirt. So it's got like the green on the green, and the green is but the white, and in green it says the best screw in town on it. And so I just wore that all the time. I wore it to high school like I don't know how many times, but no one ever said shit to me. But I was like, whatever. It's obviously a joke shirt, but
so. My wife just texted me because she's in the bedroom right above us.
Yeah,
she heard me telling the story of our meeting. I forgot the detail that a different girl was there, and I hung out with her for a few weeks before I actually started hanging out with my wife.
Dude, I love that your wife just called you out on a podcast via text. That's awesome.
It worked out.
Hey, it worked out. You got to just like yell real loud, be like, "I got the better one." And then she's like, "Oh."
No, because she'll have these stupid dreams that I'm cheating on her or something, and then wake up pissed off at me.
Dude, someone was saying that. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever listened to this. I listen to a lot of podcasts. This might as well be like the review other podcasts sometimes. But I listen to a bunch of podcasts, and it's called Brilliant Idiots. It's Charlemagne the God and Andrew Schultz, the comedian Andrew Schultz.
Okay.
Do you know who either of those are?
I've heard of
Charlemagne the God.
Charlemagne the God, I believe.
He's on. So interestingly enough, he's on the Breakfast Club, that the hip hop show, and then he does. He actually just started his own, I guess, production company, like a podcast network called the Black Effect.
Tone Gordon Production Company.
Gordon Production Company. Yeah, I got to come up with something, but it started. It's called the Black Effect, and it's actually it runs All the Smoke, which we were talking about before this podcast. So, but yeah, so he's on that, and then Andrew Schultz is a super funny comedian. And Andrew Schultz was like on there, and forgot it. Maybe it was like the latest episode I was listening to on Saturday. But he's like, you know what? He's like, I'm a great boyfriend, and he was like, why? And he's like, because the other day he's like, I had a what did he say? He said, I had a premature a mission, like basically was saying at a wet. He's like, you had a wet dream. He's like, man, you're in the 30s. He's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you know what though? He's like, it was about my girlfriend. So he's like, I don't even cheat on her in my dreams. Like, it was just gone. So it was so funny to me. Oh my god. So yeah, dude, weird dreams, man. People have some really vivid, weird dreams that like they think are real.
Yeah.
I don't dream like that. If I do dream like that, usually it's something that happens. It's weird.
I feel like I've had those too, where it's just, I'm like, I don't know if that's like the deja vu effect or something.
Dude, do you have that bad?
I wouldn't say bad, but it happens to me
a lot.
A decent amount.
More than normal people.
I would think more than, I would figure like once a quarter. Or
got you. Yep. I think that's because
more than normal people.
I think that's because we're left-handed and we ate our fucking other twin in the womb. I think.
You're not. Are you colorblind or color deficient or anything?
I am not, surprisingly. No.
Oh, I am. I didn't know I was gonna.
Let's just figure out all the lefty things, dude. So I was just talking about that to somebody though, about how messed up. Like we were talking about sports, about baseball and how like the lefty thing and like they don't play catcher, third base, shortstop, second base.
Right.
And then I was like talking about all the things that like left-handers have to deal with. And I brought up this list, and I was actually going to bring it up. We totally got around to it. I totally forgot about it until just now. But do you golf at all? Do you golf
I do.
left-handed? Do you golf left-handed?
Yes.
So I golf right-handed, but that's just because again my t-ball coach was lazy and taught me how to hit right-handed, so it feels more natural. I play guitar right-handed too, but that's because I started playing guitar seriously when I hurt my my arm pitching, and I couldn't feel my fingertips. So to get them stronger, I would push down on the strings. So I play right-handed.
So if I'm playing guitar, how do you determine which hand you're playing it with? Is it the strumming, like with the guitar pick? So if I'm using my right hand for that, would I be playing it right-handed? So
like if I'd probably reversed, but I'm looking at my guitars too. So my left hand, if you're a right-handed player, your left hand is the one that is actually putting the chords on the fretboard.
So what hand? Oh, sorry, I don't know. I lost my train of thought or something.
Okay. No, it's weird. So I play right-handed. So my hand that strums is my right hand, and my left hand is the one that puts the fingers on the chords. So if you were playing left-handed, you'd be strumming with your left hand and putting your right hand would be the ones putting their fingers on the chords.
Okay, then I play guitar right-handed. I took lessons for a little while when I was in like third grade, but I know that my left hand, this is my left hand, was up top.
Okay, so then you play right-handed. So, but okay, so we're gonna knock this out real quick because I'll go through this list. I thought it would be fair. Did you ever sit in one of those weird left-handed or right-handed desks things in school? That's fucked up.
Yeah, I always just felt like I adjusted to everything. I don't know if I noticed there was a difference up until I was probably in like junior high or high school.
Fair enough. I think we do adjust and we are better at things. By the way, did you listen to do you listen to Rogan at all? Another podcast reference here.
Yeah, but the last one I listened to was the Alex Jones.
Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that. You should listen. How about halfway through the one he did with Tony Hinchcliffe recently, the comedian Tony Hinchcliffe. He's talking about Manny Pacquiao playing pool, and he there's the second. And I'm gonna clip it out. I'm probably gonna throw it up on our Twitter. But he's like, I feel like left-handed people are better at everything, and he's just like, oh. So I was like, Joe Rogan says it, so it's true. Left-handed scissors. Did you know they had different-handed scissors?
No, I think I'm pretty sure I cut scissors with my right hand. I think.
Yeah, because they're made for. You can't if you try to use your scissors and put them in your left hand, you won't be able to cut anything.
Huh? I don't know if I've ever cut anything with my left hand.
Yeah, but right-handed scissors, you have to use your right hand, or else they won't cut.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe it's never worked for me. I've tried to put them in my left hand; they won't cut.
Huh?
I don't know if it's a force or whatnot, but
I don't know. It's probably one of those things. I probably cut right-handed. Now thinking about it, I'm trying to figure out which hand do I don't know. I'm gonna go as soon as we're done here. I'm going upstairs and grabbing a pair of scissors. I think I use my right hand, but I think that was one of those things in kindergarten. They're like
they don't have they're not buying left-handed scissors for school,
right?
Would your parents have bought you left-handed scissors if you were like, yo, I need scissors?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
I was the good kid. So
so you might have known this because you're a manly man.
Wouldn't go that far.
Measuring tape. Did you know the measuring tape letters are always upside down to us?
I don't know. I think it'd be one of those things that I adjust to. I hold my playing cards upside down. I don't know if that has anything to do with being left-handed, but I do.
I didn't know that.
It might just be weird.
Crosswords are discriminatory because of the way we write. We write left to right, so it's against us. So I don't know. I read about it. It's weird. It's some kind of a long word that means it's easier for right-handed people to do it because of the way they see things. I don't know, but
I'm gonna say that I feel like I'm fairly smart, and I don't know if I've ever completed a crossword puzzle.
Fair enough. Some of those, I always get tripped up on one. I always get tripped up on one of the things where it's I know most of them. You can
African snake. It's an asp.
You're like, huh? What the? Why would I know that?
Right. My dad would do crossword puzzles, every day, complete them every time, and at one point he was doing patternless crosswords where he had to fill in the pattern as he went. I was like, what? How?
Yeah. I don't know. That's crazy. I don't know people who do that. I'm a pretty smart trivia person, but I still get tripped up on one or two every time.
Yeah.
How do you do your belt buckle or do your belt?
Where's the extra?
Yeah.
So I feed it in to the left side and hook it through, and the flap would be on the left side. The extra.
So same, but I actually do mine weird because I put my belt's actually tied on my right hip.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
So this is gonna be a long story and stupid. I've been asked recently about it multiple times. I don't ever think about it, but then every now and then someone will be like, "Hey, why is your belt on like that? It's weird." So literally, it's. I would get up and show you, but I can't even show you. It's weird, but it's on my back, basically where right above my back pocket almost of my right side. But basically it's because I used to play guitar in bands and then I used to tour a little bit, and I went through this phase where I wore belt buckles and they scratched the shit out of the back of the guitars. So I started putting them to the side. So I'd have this belt buckle on my back and it was kind of cool. And then I've ever since that's where it's been. So, yeah. So, what else we got? We got, did you ever get your hands jacked up by,
lead?
Yeah. It's all your whole, that's jacked up. Everyone, spiral notebooks. Fuck them. Those things screw you over. I always write on the backside of pages though.
See, I like the I don't know if uniformity is the right word, but I've tried that before where it's not my way, but I'd rather it be in my way. I guess it's a little OCD, I suppose. I'd rather it be in my way so the notebook looked right.
That makes sense. Fair enough. Can openers.
I think I hold it with my left hand and crank it.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's
the only way they make it. You can't do it. You can't flip it the other way.
How do people do it?
They do it the same way we do it. They clamp it with their left hand and turn with their right, but we should be able to clamp it with our right and turn with our left, I think.
Right.
If it was all things to do. Firing a gun could be.
I shoot left-handed, I believe. Which is it the reason like they have left and right-handed guns, because I mean you don't really think about it. It's just like where the shell ejects. Like if you're
I always thought it was eye dominance.
Well, I think that could be part of it too, but I know like if you're shooting a gun that ejects the shells, like a right-handed gun's going to shoot it out. But if you're shooting a right-handed gun, it's going to shoot it right back at you.
Pow! Ow! Fuck!
Right.
It makes sense. I mean, makes sense. All pens that have any kind of writing on them are made for you to read if they're in your right hand. Supposedly.
Got a box of pens right here.
Let's check. Let's test the theory. This is left-handed podcast day. Should be upside down if you hold it in your left hand. Your writing should be.
Oh, yeah.
So, see? See? Stuff you didn't even know, man. We're just getting hosed left and right. What is it? It says this is a stupid one, but I know I definitely do it. Noticing fellow lefties in film, sports, etc. And I'm like, I notice lefties. So the line of work I do, I have to have people sign my handheld object,
right?
And I always notice when it's a lefty. And I also notice that myself, I tend to hand it to their right hand, my little stylus.
Huh.
Just because so many people are
right.
So
it actually happened tonight. I was at my buddy's viewing or wake, whatever you want to call it, and they had softballs because he big into softball, and so everybody signed a softball, and I was signing it, and some lady from behind goes, "Oh, I like you."
Yeah.
Thanks. Like you're left-handed. I said, "Oh yeah."
Automatically, dude. If you're lefty, I'm your friend. You're my friend.
Right.
Hence our podcast. No, I'm just kidding. No. Accidentally drinking someone else's drink. I think that's way more fancy than either one of us is. Actually, if you're at a dinner party, I think your drink's supposed to go on your right side.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I've never been nothing that fancy. So
me neither. Like I just learned probably when I met my wife that I'm supposed to put a napkin in my lap for dinner, like for going out to dinner or whatever.
I do know if we go out with the kid. I do know if we go out with the kids and we're sitting on the same side of the table, like we're both pretty conscious about like sitting where like she can have her right side and I can. So we're not right side to left side. So we're pretty conscious about that. Playing instruments, obviously, that's just everything's backwards. What was the other? There was another good one. Keyboard number pads because it's on the right side. Car cup holders or anything in the car, basically. Yeah,
I do use door cup holders quite a bit. If they're right. Like my wife's minivan has great doors. Like there's a cup holder at the bottom, and then there's a cup holder up high.
Yeah.
So. It's just awesome. I loved it. That was the best part about the trip.
Nice. Well, I mean, why not? I mean, I love minivan. I love me a minivan, but the other, last ones are the obvious ones. Swiping your credit card, you always swipe on the right side. And then there's another one that I was pens at the bank are always on the right side. And then this is the last one because I've thought about it. I'm not I'm not an overly like let me be a man's man kind of thing, but like there have been times where there are people that I've met that I do like admire as like people, and like I've shaken their hand, and I feel like a little bitch because we shake right-handed.
That is true, but
I feel like I have a stronger grip with my left hand.
I think I have a stronger grip with my right hand, honestly.
Really?
Or like for a handshake at least. I don't know.
I don't. I definitely my left hand is definitely stronger.
Now I need to shake some.
Like,
I don't know a lot. I think there's a lot of things I don't think about. I think I've just either adjusted or.
I think that's also though. I think that's why lefty people are so good at everything or so good at so many things is because we do have to constantly adjust.
Yeah,
it's in our nature.
Not that I'm very good at basketball, but I shoot baskets right-handed, which is weird. But I think it's even more weird that I can't dribble worth a shit right-handed, but I dribble left-handed. I can't shoot worth a shit left-handed though.
See, I broke my wrist. I think I told the story on our old podcast. I broke my wrist and then I had to shoot right-handed. So now when I go up, I like consciously have to think I'm going to shoot left-handed or I'm going to shoot right-handed.
Huh?
Because it goes up and I'm like, both of the hands want to be like the outside hand, and I'm like,
what is your dominant kicking leg?
I probably, if I was going to line up, I don't know. I think I kick with my right leg, to be honest with you.
I do. I know.
But I think that's not because of. I think it's because I feel like my plant leg, which I think is what you're kicking, which is weird, right? Because if you're a righty kicker, you plant with your left.
Right.
And I feel like that's where a lot of power comes from.
I thought I kicked right. I thought I would be a right-handed kicker or right-footed kicker since I kick with my right foot.
So that would make you a right-footed kicker, yeah. But like for me, since I pitched, my left leg is so strong from pushing off the mound that like I feel like I plant better with my left leg.
Maybe that's why I was never a professional kicker, was because I kicked right-footed when my plant leg was my left leg. I should have kicked left-footed, but my coordination wasn't there, I think.
Probably because you pitched too. So
right.
Makes sense. I think we're just weird lefties, but yeah, that's the weird left-handed stuff that we,
Right. I think just by trade lefties are kind of weird, and then baseball players are weird, so
yeah, we're definitely weird.
They cancel each other out. Just normal.
We're definitely a weird bunch. Yeah, man. So, I was gonna say, what did I say? Oh, speaking of baseball, this is something I think we should both touch on since we both have daughters. We both obviously have wives because we've mentioned them in this podcast. Did you see the Marlins hired the first female GM?
I did. That was pretty cool. I spoke to my wife about it, and she thought it was awesome.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty neat. I was like, that's kind of cool. I didn't think it got the coverage that it deserved, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Pretty historical thing. And she's at
least Asian. I don't know if she's Asian American or I think she's got an accent. So I don't know if she was born here or what. But either way, regardless, it's really cool.
And I think that's a first too, I think.
Probably.
At least for baseball, I think. But I think she's the first female GM in any major sport, though.
Probably. What about the WNBA? Or is that considered a major
I don't think it's
sport?
considered a major sport, but like I consider it. But I mean like NBA, MLB, NHL, and then which one did I just not name? Whatever, basketball, baseball, football, NHL. I think I named it. The major sports: football, basketball, baseball, and hockey.
Well, I know.
I think she's the first. I think she's the first female in any of those four major sports.
I know the three normal major sports have all had women coaches of some sort. I don't know if hockey has or not, though.
Well, they haven't had head coaches, though, right?
None of them have had a head female coach, but I think the Giants have a female coach of some sort.
Yeah, more of them have now. I know baseball, I think, got their first coach this year.
Right.
That lady from the Giants.
Yeah, because there's who's that idiot that used to play? Is it Aubrey Huff?
Probably.
He's like a giant
Trumper.
Yeah. Huge bag on Twitter. He was going off about it or something.
Yeah, well, he played for San Francisco too. So,
right.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I think it was Aubrey Huff. I hope I'm not wrong on that, but he's okay.
No, it sounds about right. By the way, weird Aubrey Huff story. He was super nice to me when he played. He actually, so my brother's an artist, so we went on this trip. I was probably like I was a sophomore. My brother might have just graduated. And he we were playing home run derby on this little league field just for the hell of it, like the day before this trip, and we hit like 700 home runs because it's a little league field, and we were like way too big to be hitting on it. But we hopped over the fence to go get all the balls, and we hopped back over the fence, and my brother caught himself on the fence and then rolled his ankle, and it blew up to like the size of a softball. Next day, we were going on this trip to South Carolina from Virginia to go see family. But on the way down, it was my mom, my brother, and me. We were going to hit as many minor league games as we could. And we planned it out. My brother was like, I know which games we're going to hit. So he's an artist. So he drew a bunch of players. And then we just got them autographed because they were minor league games. So we got there, and Zebulon, North Carolina, I remember, and Carolina Mudcats. And Aubrey Huff was playing either for the team there or for the team that was coming in, and he let us down the field. Like we took batting BP with him and stuff, and then he broke his bat, and then he like gave us it, and he like signed each side of it for us. Like, so one side for me, one side for my brother. Yeah, super nice. Took a picture with us. So yeah, he was super nice to us, but like I don't know.
Cool.
I mean, I've listened to some of his podcasts, and I'm like, ooh. I don't know about that.
It's just... Twitter's great, but Twitter's also like awful for certain people.
Well, I think too many people don't think through what they're saying, or like they don't understand the repercussions of it. I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers the other day, and I know him pretty well, and I know he's not racist. But like something he said came out super racist. And I was like, dude, if you were talking to anybody else, they'd be like, dude, you're racist. But like, I knew that wasn't what he meant just because I know who he is. But it's like, it's wild, man. It's okay. I have a buddy actually, to be honest, like it's a married couple, and they're an interracial marriage. Like his wife is black. And, I've been with him, and some lady actually legitimately was like, you're racist. Like, overheard something he was saying, hey, you're racist. And he was like, you're an idiot. I'm like, but okay. Like, he's like, I'm married to a black lady. Like, I have 5 kids. We have 5 kids together. Like, all my kids are half black. Like, he's like, doesn't make any sense, but okay. Yeah. And he's the type of dude who like will fight somebody over hearing the use of like derogatory language. And he wasn't using that. He was saying something, just like a thought of like, I forgot exactly what it was, but it was basically like, it's actually a thought. It had nothing to do with race. It was actually about food stamps. It was something, he made some kind of comment about food stamps, and somebody like got him about being a racist, even though it wasn't even about race. But so after Pigeon Forge, we went to Atlanta. My best friend moved down there. His wife's fellow, or she's a doctor, but she has a fellowship at a hospital down there. Oh, nice.
The one night we went out to dinner with a couple of her friends that were down there, and one is OBGYN, and he's from Trinidad.
Oh, damn.
And his girlfriend was down, who lives up by us, but she was down visiting too at the same time, and she's from Dominican. But the how you just said like the food stamp thing wasn't like meant to sound racist, but somebody took it that way or whatever. Yeah. I just thought this was interesting. So like we have a foster baby. Yeah. And like the reason we have her is her and mom tested positive for something at the hospital. So I was asking him, like, is that common? Like, do moms and kids get tested? Like, do they take a sample from every mom and baby when they're born to see if there's anything in their system? He said, no, at least not in the state of Indiana. He said, that's what I don't like about the state of Indiana. Either they need to do it for all or not, because when they pick and choose, they tend to lean towards minorities. I was like, that's fucked up. That's
super. See, that's the parts where like when people talk about like white privilege and stuff like that, that's the stuff that like I noticed for real. Like that,
right? Like, that's like the definition of it. I mean,
and it's stuff that like most of us don't even think about because it's like it doesn't happen to us,
right?
Like so, like unless you're like in a situation where like you have a foster kid, you know what I mean? Like it's like you're like, oh, like that's something that's been brought into your life. So you're like, okay. So you
Right.
understand like that this test. So like that's what would lead you to that conversation. But I would have never guessed that either. Like,
Right. I would have never thought about it. Like our foster, we have a white foster baby, but
yeah.
like, I would have never, that would have never even crossed my mind. And now it's just like, that kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, right.
Indiana is a weird state to begin with, though, with stuff, but I'm sure there's a lot of states like that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure some states where anytime, well, I would, and maybe I'm wrong, but I would assume Indiana is a probably more white state than normal.
I would assume so, as red as we are.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of basing it off of. But I was like, Indiana. I know, well, because I know Pennsylvania's pretty big too, right? Pennsylvania's pretty white, but then you have like I know like Illinois it has like obviously like Chicago and stuff has big dense populations of like different ethnicities all in one.
Right. Yeah, I mean, at least in my area, my high school, we had one black kid, but I mean, he was with us all since kindergarten. It wasn't a big deal, but like I went to college in Illinois, and then it was a totally different world.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I went to college or I went to high school with a lot of different like races. So like it was like, I mean, we had a lot of Asian kids, we had a lot of like African Americans, a lot of white people. We had a couple Hawaiian kids. Like, I mean, like we had like a bunch of all over the board kind of things. You know what I mean? So it wasn't abnormal to me. It was actually more so in reverse because when I went to New Jersey to play baseball, like it was actually a predominantly white college. To be honest with you,
I was at a white farming school, basically, and then went to I don't want to say urban community college, but I mean, it was fairly, I would say, urban outside of Aurora, Illinois. So,
yeah, it's weird. It's weird how like different people's perspective in life can like change kind of how they view things too.
Mm-hmm.
It's because like I know a lot of people who are like Democrats, so like big time Democrats, and they're like, I can't believe anyone would vote Republican, and then you're like, well, like I have a lot of military friends who are like,
right.
The Democrats don't give us the same funding. They don't give us like certain things that like are normal for like our things to have. You know what I mean? So it's like, a lot of my military friends lean Republican because it's more, they get more taken care of when the Republicans in office. So like stuff like that you don't really think about, but you're like, oh yeah, like it depends on what your priorities are. Like for me, like I'm sure like I think it was Brendan Schaub I was listening to the Fighter and the Kids podcast. Like he was saying, like he's like, honestly, he's like, if I say like the things I look into, then I'm probably going to be like, I don't want to get taxed as much. He's like, I probably fall in a Republican range if I'm really like being honest about the first thing I look at. But he's like, he's like, that's not my whole decision. But he's like, but I'm sure there's a lot of like people who make a good amount of money who are like, I know I should be Democrat, but the tax breaks a little.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would like that to be a problem I had. Like,
for real.
Just like people complain, like some of my favorite memes right now on like Facebook or Twitter are if your Tupperware looks like this and then it's like the burnt yellow Tupperware, then you don't need to worry about Biden's tax plan.
I haven't seen that one. That's hilarious. Well, it's funny because like I mean, my family's middle class. We are middle class people. Like we're not hurting, but we're also not like rich. We're not making like, so like, I'm like, I just don't want to get taxed to the point where I'm like, I get put basically into the lower class because I work really hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like my wife works really hard, and like it would be nice to, like if that meant something and meant like we could put money away and stuff like that and build a savings and all that kind of, you know, all those kind of things. Like, cause like I bust my ass. I work 50, 60 hours a week. Sometimes my wife works 50 hours a week, you know, like it's like you like those. I think that's where you get like people on different sides of things. So it's like really like what's important to you. I mean, that's not the sole reason I don't ever vote solely because of taxes. That's for sure, though.
Right.
I
If it looked like I just rolled my eyes at you, I didn't. My contacts were just like super dry.
I figured. But yeah, I mean, that's a. I mean, I think that's a solid podcast episode.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, that's a catching back up. We went through some lefty stuff. Keep this one
Um,
nice and tight. And also, I'm going to just start promoting the shit out of these things on social media. So
I thought of, well, I'm thinking of it. So that OBGYN we went up to his apartment. He's on like it looked palatial, like this apartment building. Like it was like a high rise.
Yeah.
And I think there were 34 floors, 33 floors, something like that.
Jesus.
He was on the 28th floor.
Yeah.
The only numbers above him, so the elevator went 28, and then 29 it said PH 29, and then PH 30 for penthouse.
You had to put. Were they the ones where you had to put like your key in to turn it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've been to one of those.
His apartment was nice and stuff, but the coolest part, like, I mean, it wasn't like anything super duper fancy or anything. The view from that high up was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it was incredible.
I bet. Well, there's this place in Virginia Beach. They don't have a lot of high rises. But when it was getting built, and I don't know if it actually ever did, but someone rumored that like one of the Bush, it was either Kurt Busch or Kyle Busch, owned the penthouse of this place. But they hadn't moved in because it was still being built, and my buddy was working on it. And so one day he was like, dude, he's like, I'll take you up to the penthouse. You can check it out. And it had these like fucking massive doors that you could open up. You could open up like basically one whole side of this thing.
Yeah. Like
there were those doors that pushed in and just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And I was like, holy shit. And you're staying out there in the ocean. You're on the fucking East Coast. I mean, it's literally the ocean's there, but like you can't typically see it from where that is. Right. But like when you get that high up, you're like, oh, okay. Like you can see it. Everything. So
yeah, you could see like the next building over was like fairly close, but like you could see the penthouse that was there because you're almost even with it.
Yeah,
and you see like the umbrellas for like there's a pool on the roof of this building and stuff. Yeah. Like, I don't know if I'd like to live in a big city.
Yeah,
because I like to do stuff, but for something like that, I think I could manage.
Yeah. Definitely, I think that's the drawbacks of big cities, though, right? Like,
right.
if you live in New York, $1,500 in rent doesn't go nearly as far as $1,500 in rent if you're out in the country.
Well, that's like my buddy that lives in Atlanta. His fiance, or they're not engaged yet. They will be. They both know they're going to get married. They just haven't. He's working on it.
Yeah,
but
that's the new thing, I think.
She's from California, so I have to ask Ronnie sometime how far away is from where, because she's from like San Francisco, outside of San Francisco.
I think that's quite a ways because there's like, I think San Francisco is towards the bottom of the state.
I thought San Francisco was northern, but not like as northern as where Ronnie is.
Hey, come here, bud. Come here. Yeah, no, I think Ronnie lives up north. San Francisco is towards the south. We got our first guest. We got our first guest on the podcast.
Nice.
Here we go. First guest.
Future MLB player. This kid.
Future.
This guy.
First guest. Here we go.
Hi.
Can you say hi to Jems?
Hi.
Say
How are you?
Dog.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
How are you?
Good.
Can you wave to him? Can you say hi?
Hi.
What do you like to do?
Mash baseballs.
Mash baseballs? Do you hit baseballs hard?
Yeah.
Do you crush them?
Yeah.
Are you going to be a professional baseball player?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite baseball player? What team do you root for?
You said the White Sox, right?
No, we definitely didn't say the White Sox. Do you like a team in Chicago?
Yeah.
What team do you like in Chicago?
The White Sox.
The who? The who?
The Chicago.
Who? Chicago who?
White Sox.
There's two teams in Chicago.
No, the small guys.
The small guys?
Yeah.
What's the song they play when Chicago wins?
They're the small and they hit it.
Oh, they're small and they hit it?
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Say bye. Say see you later, podcast.
See you later.
Say peace.
Peace.
So we went up to Michigan last year.
Give it to me.
Oh, nice jammies, dude.
You give it to me.
I gave them to you.
Oh.
All right, later.
How old is he?
He is 3.5, roughly.
When's his birthday?
May.
Okay, my daughter turns 4 in December.
So they're basically he's like 5 months younger.
If we were in the same school district, they'd go to the same school or
Yeah.
be in the same grade. So we went up to Michigan last year with he's actually like one of my 5th grade teachers, my wife's 5th grade teacher, my brother's 5th grade teacher, my mom's 5th grade teacher, my wife's dad's 5th grade teacher. But they
How
go
old
to
is this dude?
like 70. Like my mom
Okay.
had his first year teaching. And so they have a cabin up in Michigan. I hunt his property here, but like
nice.
they got a cabin up in Michigan. So we went up and stayed up there for a couple of days last year. He's a big White Sox fan. So am I.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the world is apparently a Cubs fan. And so he had gotten Claire to start saying, "Go White Sox.
Nice.
Go White Sox." But now she refuses to say it. Everybody's broke her.
Oh
Like,
no.
that's with me pestering her, but she's a Cubs fan. I don't even know if she knows what it means, but she's just go Cubs now, and it's just
I don't know why he was being shy. He's like all the time. He's like, he went to baseball today. Like he went to t-ball and like practice. And he was like, I was like, dude, you're gonna hit the ball hard today. He's like, yeah. He's like Chris Bryant. I'm like, okay, cool, bud. Like he likes. He
he
knows
can
the
be
players.
broken when Chris Bryant's playing for like the Braves or something next year.
Hey, dude, that's contract. He might be gone. I don't.
They said like Theo resigned today to step away from.
Did he?
Yeah,
How did I miss that?
Ned Hoyer is the new president of baseball operations.
Holy shit!
One of the reports I saw was that part of the reason Theo resigned was because he didn't like the direction of some of the stuff. This wasn't anything Theo was quoted on. This is just a report.
Oh, like the unconfirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sounds like the Cubs are just going to non-tender a bunch of people or something.
Ooh, that dude. The problem is they have a ton of talent, but they just like. I'm like, you've won a World Series. Like the first time in like 100 years, you won. You definitely probably should keep Chris Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez until the wheels fall off.
Right. One of my buddies, I guess, is a pretty big Cubs fan.
Yeah.
And he was saying 10 years ago, if somebody told us we'd have a World Series title, but then this was going to happen with the Cubs where they just like underperformed and stuff, we would have took it in a heartbeat. But now it's happened and everybody's like, well, this is fucking stupid. Chicago sucks.
Well, it's like the Patriots. Like if the Patriots prior to 2001, well, I always kind of find it weird. I know people say the Patriots were garbage, but like they were in like the Super Bowl, I think in like 97 too. So
yeah, I think the Packers beat them.
Yeah, the Packers beat them. Yeah, Brett Favre got his title against them. But like, I'm like, so like, I mean, they were there. But I mean, that franchise, if you told a fan in like 95 that in 2020 their team was going to have like 6 rings and like one of the greatest players of all time and one of the greatest coaches of all time, but their team was going to be so-so this year, they'd be like, yeah, I'll take it. Right,
for sure.
But no. That's the underperforming talk, I guess.
Chicago sports is kind of wild right now. The Bears are bad, which is fantastic. They can't score any points on offense.
They were garbage. That game last night sucked.
Yeah. Theo retired or whatever, resigned.
That's wild. I don't know. I wonder if my wife saw that. She didn't say anything to me about it. So
the White Sox hired a manager. Come to find out the day after he gets charged with the DUI, like they knew it was happening.
Who did they hire?
Fucking Tony La Russa.
Okay, that's who I thought. Tony La Russa got a DUI.
He got it in February, but they just charged him like the day before he took the White Sox job.
Jesus Christ.
And I guess
why did you guys hire Tony La Russa? He's 95 years old.
I have no idea. Him and Jerry Reinsdorf are buddies. And then he fucking
makes sense.
They could have had AJ Hinch. They could have probably had Alex Cora, even though he went back to Boston. But
yeah,
There was.
Dude,
I would have rather had Sandy Alomar or fucking AJ Pierzynski or something.
Why didn't they should have hired Sammy Sosa.
Well, they have a tendency to hire old White Sox, so I guess that was. I thought it was going to be like Paul Konerko or something.
I mean, they should hire Frank Thomas. He can bring his Neutrogena to the.
He's on the White Sox. He does a lot of stuff for Fox Sports, but he's also on the White Sox post game.
Yeah,
he's
good.
Really good at that.
He's good. I like him actually. Yeah, he's on with Big Papi sometimes.
With during the playoffs, him and Ozzie Guillen were on there together.
Yeah.
And just some of the stuff Renteria did, they're just like, what the fuck are you doing? You could just see him like, because Ozzie like managed him to their World Series title, and
yeah, dude, that's some weird stuff. Yeah, Ozzie, and that's the other thing. They fired Ozzie too quick.
He was like,
he was wild.
Him in the front office was not getting along very well. It was probably time for Ozzie to go, but I would have been cool if they brought him back now.
I'm like, dude, won you a title though. So
yeah, I can't believe he's not managing anywhere.
Maybe that's a Lions thing where I'm like, dude, anybody who wins this title. I said this to somebody the other day because we were talking about it's time for Foles time for Wentz to get benched, maybe for Hurts of the Eagles. And I was like, dude, I've never been a fan of Wentz. I don't know, but also I don't know how you win a title and you just let the quarterback that won you a title leave. I don't care that you guys drafted Wentz second. Nick Foles won you a Super Bowl. See you later, fucking Carson Wentz. And he was like, think about it. If you're a Lions fan, so he's like, do you like Stafford? I was like, I love Stafford. Stafford's great. And he's like, well, what happens if Stafford goes out and you guys win a Super Bowl? I was like, Chase Daniels, you're my new fucking best friend, buddy. I don't see you later, Stafford. If some dude takes us to a title, he better retire as a Lion.
Right.
Same thing. We shouldn't fire a coach until he dies.
Yeah. Matt Patricia somehow gets the Lions to the playoffs this year. And
we're still mathematically possible, right? I think.
Yeah. And if some games get canceled, they might add another playoff spot.
They already approved that, actually.
Did they?
Yeah, it's like if they can't finish the season in 18 weeks, they're adding an 8th spot to each side. So because there's already 7, they already added one already for this year.
Right.
So, and you know that team ain't coming from the NFC East.
No, that's gonna be wild when one of those teams gets in with 5 wins.
That's gonna be garbage. Probably.
Then I hope they go on a run. They catch fire and freaking win a playoff game.
Isn't that kind of what Eli did? Because they were those teams were 8-8, weren't they?
Probably 8, 9, and 7. I know the Seahawks won a game after going 7-9. That was the Marshawn earthquake run or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember it was, and I think it was the Raiders. I think at one point they were the first team ever to go undefeated in their division and not make the playoffs.
Really?
I think it was a couple years ago. Yeah, I think so. So who knows? But yeah, dude, a lot of interesting sports stuff. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm glad basketball's gonna be back December. The draft I think is tomorrow. I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is tomorrow.
I had FanDuel sent me a thing where you could pick the draft order, and if you get it right, you win money. So I did that. So
it would be kind of neat, a direction to go with this podcast if we only interviewed left-handed people.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think we could definitely find some lefties, or if you do something lefty, he's a Lions fan, so obviously, but Evan Fox. Evan Fox is a righty, but he shoots left-handed.
Yeah,
it's pretty well known that he shoots left-handed, so he's known to do something lefty.
That'd be kind of neat. There's probably not a left-handed podcast around. Only interview lefties. Be like, oh, Peyton Manning wants to be on your podcast. Sorry, he's not left-handed.
Peyton Manning can't come on. Does he do anything left-handed? Nope. No. I'm trying to think who's the greatest lefties of all time.
Our
Babe Ruth,
possible namesake, Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw, definitely a great lefty.
I don't know if he's GOAT level, but I mean he's really fucking good.
Well, I know there's some weird ass stat about because we're on President 46 with Biden.
Yeah.
So I think it was like back when there was 44 presidents. I want to say it was like something like half the presidents were lefties or something.
That would make sense. Lefties tend to be smarter.
But well, it's weird though because we're like 8% of the population.
Right. I think Obama was left-handed.
So I'm saying I think and he would have been 44. So I think that might have been why. But yeah, I wonder who's the GOAT lefty?
Ken Griffey Jr.
Greatest swing of all time.
Oh my gosh! I shared it a few years ago. And it's just like, and anytime I see it, I retweet it. His swing is just so pretty,
dude. That swing is, like the most smooth thing. There's not a single bit of hesitation in that swing. It's just smooth.
Yeah, if I could. Oh my gosh!
Greatest they gave me great. I could put greatest lefties of all time, and it definitely gave me all baseball players.
Wow. Yeah. Left-handed presidents. Google. James Garfield.
Fair enough.
Herbert Hoover.
Okay.
Gerald Ford.
Hey.
George H.W. Bush.
Gerald Ford's a lefty. What did Gerald Ford do?
Played for the Michigan in college football.
And his family owns the...
Is he part of the Ford family?
Did I
never make that connection?
I think Gerald Ford is part of the Ford family. I think.
I'm an idiot. Like, he went to the University of Michigan, so I would assume he's from Michigan. There's my next Google.
Holy shit, dude! Did you not? I could totally be just making that shit up though. By the way, so I don't know, but he is from he's from Michigan though, isn't he?
Bill Clinton and Barack Obama also left-handed.
By the way, Gerald Ford is from Omaha, Nebraska, so maybe not.
Huh? Maybe I'm not so stupid.
He did go to the University of Michigan though, and he was raised in Grand Rapids. So I'm gonna Google it while you're telling me all the rest of the lefties.
That's as far as I got. That was all.
Okay. I mean, that'd be hilarious if Gerald Ford was though. Gerald Ford, part of the Ford family. Part of the. Why the fuck is this my handheld? My device sucks.
Gerald Ford was an American businessman, creator of Ford Industries, and a Republican politician who is the stepfather of U.S. President Gerald Ford, and for whom Ford legally changed his name.
To his stepdad?
Yeah, but it says Ford Industries, so I don't know if...
Why does it not tell me who his parents are? Parents are somebody else. Dorothy Ayers. I don't know that. Let's see, dude. It's crazy. Like this.
His dad founded the Ford Paint and Varnish Company, so I think it was the wrong Ford.
Ford
family.
Gerald. I guess his name was Gerald Ford as well. So
Ford must be a pretty prominent name in Michigan, though.
I guess maybe, but you would think one of them people would be related, because I know, like, because isn't the lady who married the Ford who owns the Lions, her family's the Firestones, aren't they?
Yeah, like think of that powerhouse, like,
dude, not the greatest powerhouse of all time. You want to know what the greatest powerhouse of all time is, though?
Yeah,
he is a football owner.
He's a football what?
He's a football owner. He owns a football team. Stan Kroenke. Do you know who Stan Kroenke's married to?
No. A Walmart?
Yep.
Is he really?
Yep. Stan Kroenke is less rich than his wife.
Who does he own?
He owns the Rams. He also owns the Chelsea football team, I think, or Fulham, maybe. He owns like a bunch of teams.
Didn't they just charge the freaking city of LA a shit ton of money to build that stadium too? Like, I don't think.
I think he paid out of pocket.
Did he pay out of pocket? I would hope so. If he's part of that Walton tree.
Yeah, I think he notoriously paid out of pocket. I think that's why he got it done. I think it was the first. So he owns.
Well, who owns the Chargers then? Aren't they there too?
Sperano? Not Sperano. It's somebody's ass, though, I think.
Pretty sure I saw an episode of Ray Donovan where Ray has a piece of it.
Really? I think it's some Spanos? Dean Spanos.
That makes sense.
Maybe.
But aren't they The Chargers play there too, don't they?
I think so, but I think I don't know if they play. Maybe they. I don't know, to be honest with you.
I think they do. I thought they did.
I thought that was the whole point. So Stan Kroenke, I will give you like the first paragraph of his bio on Wikipedia. Is an American billionaire businessman. He is the owner of Kroenke Sports and Entertainment, which is the holding company of English Premier League football club Arsenal Football.
It's a big one, right?
Yeah. They're one of the bigger ones. The Los Angeles Raiders, Denver Nuggets, the Colorado Avalanche, the Colorado Rapids, the Colorado Mammoth, which is a lacrosse team in Denver, the Los Angeles Gladiators of the Overwatch League. So he's in the esports now. And the newly founded Los Angeles Guerrillas of the Call of Duty League. The man is making bank.
Oh my! He owns all of those teams.
Owns all of those. He owns Kroenke's Sports and Entertainment, which is the holding company. So that company owns all. So he is obviously the biggest owner of that owner, but it's like a owning group or whatever. But he also owns like other stuff. That was just the sports teams. Like he owns the he's the owner of Screaming Eagle Winery and Vineyards, and he's also he just owns a ton of stuff.
What's his net worth?
He's worth $10 billion.
That's it.
Yeah, and he's married to Anne Walton Kroenke, who also owns. She's obviously. Oh, dude! So she wasn't even. So I thought she was. She is a Walmart heiress, though. But she inherited stock. Kroenke and her sister inherited stock from their father, Bud Walton, who was the brother and early business partner of Walmart founder Stan Walton. So she is worth. Oh, she's down a little bit. So Stan's actually bigger. She's worth $8.7 billion.
Do you think they love each other, or do you think it's just like a power thing?
Okay, this is. I love how you called this. By the way, you were like, I was like, we'll do a half-hour podcast. This is how we get off the rails. How do you think Stan Kroenke and Miss Walton meet?
Do you know the answer to this, or
no, I don't. No, I don't. I should probably Google that. But
it seems like an arranged marriage. It seems like. But I guess if Kroenke is the one with the are their ages pretty close, or I would assume?
Yeah, so she is 71 and he is 73.
Okay, so that's pretty good for it wasn't
when did it say they were married? Let's see if it says personal life. Okay, on a ski. Oh, hey, we just found out it's in the Wikipedia. Here we go. Yes. On a ski trip to Aspen, Colorado, Kroenke met his future wife, Ann Walton, a Walmart heiress. They married in 1974. Already wealthy from real estate, he became even wealthier when he and Ann inherited a stake in Walmart upon the 1995 death of her father. So she didn't even have money.
But it was coming. He knew it was coming.
I mean, it was coming. Yeah, she knew it was coming. But damn. So
how lucky is that? I mean, I'm sure they're on a part of a hill in Aspen that normal folk can't go to.
All right. Yeah, I would guess. Yeah, that's wild. So
they have a combined net worth of $18.5 billion.
Yeah. I mean, that's not Jeff Bezos' money, but I mean,
he's gonna be a trillionaire or something,
dude. Bezos. Another podcast I was listening to, they were talking about that divorce thing or whatever, because he's tripled his. So since he gave half of his money to his ex-wife, he's tripled what he had. So if she would have divorced him 1 year later, she would have doubled what she got. And then the people on the show, I think it was 3 people on whatever show I was listening to, they were like, "Do you think she's pissed off?" And the one guy was like, "No, she got $38 billion." Right. I think at that point you're just like, who cares?
How you're a billionaire? How'd you make your money? Divorce the right guy.
Well, the thing I think what they were saying was they were talking about how pissed off self-made billionaires might be because of the fact that she basically became the richest woman alive off of a
Yeah.
divorce. But it's like, I think she was with him for a long time though. So she was with him when he had nothing. So I think in that case, you're like, yeah, you kind of do deserve it. You know what I mean? Like,
right. I wonder what like divorced them, if he was having affairs or whatever.
he was having an affair. Yeah.
Like, if you are freaking Jeff Bezos and having an affair, you know you're going to get caught.
For sure. Probably by your own technology.
Right.
like that dude owns Amazon.
Yeah.
Which is literally on everything. Like when they show all those, like when they showed Buda Baker get run down by fucking DK Metcalf and they're showing the miles an hour, that's an AWS fucking stat.
That's not American Weather Service?
No, sir, it is not. The Weather Service is not following.
AccuWeather Service?
So I'm like, dude, they're covering you. Like you're gonna get caught somewhere. Why don't you have I think he ended up getting I think he's like mistress or the lady he was cheating on, I think like either got a phone hacked or like she leaked like nudes or something. I think there's Jeff Bezos news out there, bro.
Ooh.
So
do you think Jeff Bezos started COVID to rescind the money he lost by having to pay his ex-wife? Because I'm sure he made a buttload of money during COVID.
Jeff Bezos is worth $183.6 billion.
Is he number one?
I assume so.
Because I thought for a while, like Bill Gates and like, I think Bill Gates was like, when he was like number one, it was only like 60 billion or something.
Dude, it's so wild. I don't understand. Well, the funny thing is I think it was Joe Rogan. I was listening to Joe Rogan podcast. He was talking about how there's actually like Saudi princes that are like trillionaires, but that's just not legal. Like,
probably.
Yeah. So like, could you imagine like that kind of money though? Like richest person in the world. Let's see. As of now, Jeff Bezos standing at 190 billion is number one. Number two is Bill Gates at 120 bill. That's wild. So literally, dude, that's wild. Okay, so I don't know when this article is fairly recent. Okay, so literally, if you took the money that Bill Gates, who's number two in the world, and Elon Musk have, they equal what Jeff Bezos has. Because Elon Musk is worth 70, Bill Gates is worth 120, and Bezos is worth 190.
That's insane. Having $190 billion, there's nothing you could not do. Like $1 billion, there's nothing you could not do. I
think you would have to really try to fuck that up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how, like, because his money goes like crazy up fast, so he must be invested in some stuff. So that's got to be some of it, right? Like, Elon's into like SpaceX and all that kind of shit,
right?
Like, so obviously his stuff can go up, but like, if that thing takes a fall, I guess like you go down. Like, I didn't realize Bill Gates only owns like 1% of Microsoft. Like he sold.
Because like even if Amazon took a dump, like you'd think he's like protected, like where.
Gotta be, right?
I would think so.
I mean, how much would Amazon have to tank?
How could it?
Well, that's the thing, is right. How would you have something tank?
Unless somebody creates something that can get something to my house in 15 minutes, anything I order, like 1 or 2 day shipping is. I can't imagine things would be any faster unless like I order I don't know, anything. Like you can order anything on Amazon. If it could be like if we and you could be sitting here right now and I ordered something and then it'd be on my porch by the time I walked up the stairs. Yeah, that would probably be about the only thing that could shut down Amazon.
Or like if you think of it and then it just shows up.
Right, like targeted ads. Like that, but real life.
I bet you that's how it's gonna get too. It's gonna be like you're gonna start thinking of things, and it's gonna be like you're gonna have like a little pop up in your brain, in your phone that's like in your contacts in your eye. That's like you can see everybody's like stats and stuff.
That would be the worst thing for like a drunk night. Like, you know how like Pat's bought like a wrestling ring and like a car. If like you could just think about something and it's like, do you want to buy this in your head? And you're like,
Like, fuck yeah. Dude, that's the problem, right? But then would you think like also like is that like where you have to like get like you're gonna be drinking? Like do you have to like put in like a like you're like, okay, but I have to have I have to be able to put a pin in for if it's over a certain amount of money.
Yeah, that would for sure.
Yeah. Well, because that's famously Pat talks about how he bought his house on a drunk.
Right.
So it's like, I mean, it turned out to be a good investment for him, but
yeah. And like his house, I've seen pictures of it somewhere. I can't remember where, but
yeah.
I mean, it could have even been his Twitter or Instagram. I don't know. But that house, like not in Indianapolis, like in a different state, is worth $10 million probably.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's the thing about
not even like California, but like just like not Indiana. Indiana's cheap.
I know. I looked into it. I was like, how much could I take to not live in Colorado? No, I've thought about moving before. I don't think Colorado's my end destination, but
is your wife's job pretty easy where she can move around or
not really? No, but she's got enough experience and she's got enough like education that she could probably land a solid job at anywhere else, paying pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, and the difference was pretty last time I checked, it was pretty massive. So like, I would probably have to switch to making a little bit more, and then she could make a little less, and then I'd even out.
Yeah, I mean, my wife works at the church right now, so like, it's not like it's all my income.
Yeah, but you work like 6 jobs, don't you?
No, I just work the one.
Are you a volunteer firefighter?
Yeah.
Okay. I always wondered how that works. So I have a friend who is like a firefighter chief, but I think he was a volunteer to start, but now he gets paid. So I'm like,
certain departments are like half volunteer and half paid. Like our next door neighbor department, now they're all paid, but for a while there, they had a few paid guys and the rest were volunteers. So then their chief would end up getting paid.
Oh, got you.
So like if we brought on paid guys, then we'd have to have a paid chief.
Got you. That makes sense.
But we do get like a disbursement in December, which is nice. It's like what we use for Christmas shopping. So like however many calls I run, there's like a kitty or something, and they divide it out for how many people we have and
that's cool.
How many calls you run.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's not bad. I get a couple grand for it. So
I mean, it's not bad. So how does that work being a volunteer? Like, does that like if your thing, like, are you like, because a volunteer, I think of like schools and shit, and I'm like, oh, like some volunteers, but then someone's always like, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't bring the cookies. Fuck you guys. Like,
so,
like obviously, hopefully you guys aren't like that. Like, I don't know, but I always wondered how like that kind of works. Like
we have all the same certs and shit as like a paid fire. So
okay.
Like, we have our pagers.
Gotcha.
It also comes through on my phone, so I get a text, an alert from my app, and I think I get an email too, but that doesn't mean anything. Like when a call drops, so that'll beep. Beep is an understatement. It'll fucking scream at you, tell you what the call is, and then you can check in on your phone if you're going. So like if I'm not home or if I'm drunk or if I'm at work, then I don't go. But if I am going, then I just put where am I? You can respond to scene, station. There's a couple delay 5 minutes if you're on your way into town or something.
Got you. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think we have 18 members on our department, but there's probably only like 10 to 12 of us that are active, and then maybe like 5 of us that are really active.
Got you. I always wondered that. So it really is kind of volunteer though. It's kind of like okay. What happens if no one shows up? I'm sure that would never happens, but
no, it happens.
Oh, does it?
It happens more for medical calls because we got to do like first responder stuff.
Gotcha.
So if you get like I don't want to say, I mean, I probably shouldn't say bullshit medical call, but if it's like something. And
Something's like I
doesn't
have
sound very serious.
yeah.
Sometimes you'll get people that don't go. Daytimes are hard because most people are working during the day.
That makes sense. Okay.
But like if there's a fire or car accident, I would say 100% of the time people are going. Fires are what get people excited.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sweet, man. Well, I mean, I think that's a solid ending point. I think we had a great episode, man. Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that went all over the place, but also was interesting, and we learned today.
We did learn.
So we'll sign off for this one. This is episode number 3, Off the Rails podcast with Tone and Jems. And that's Jems. Jems, you got any parting shots?
Hopefully the next time we talk to you, we have stepped our way up to dollar entries. Yes. I know it's the other podcast, but
yeah, for sure.
That means we had a good week.
For sure. We had a good week. And And so so I think going forward, we're going to have one podcast where we just talk and then one podcast where we go over DFS. We'll see when that all starts up. Maybe now, maybe next week, maybe we don't know, but we'll figure it out. So if you see 2, no, it's because we're awesome. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see everybody on the next episode. Later.